pin this real quick. All right. Hello, hello. I am Yasmeen. I will be y'all's second host for this account. I'm a 20-year-old college student. And yeah.
Hello, hello,
Hello.
Yasmeen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. You're looking so beautiful today.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to talk to you and introduce you as the second host for our Project Scovid
Yes.
Friday Convos. How are you
Mhm.
feeling today?
Um, Not gonna lie, I just got done having a sickle cell crisis yesterday, but today I feel pretty good, thankfully. I'm doing pretty
I'm
good.
sorry for that. What was
Yeah.
happening today? You're just a lot of pain?
Yeah, the weather here has been crazy, and that's a big trigger for me. So it's just been kind of waiting for the weather to pass by just for my health to restabilize itself.
Yeah, that's true. There's been so much rain and the winds and the change in the barometric pressure. One minute it's sunny, the
Mhm.
next minute it's been this crazy like Ida and Henri and those types of things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you do to try to get through, like to try to keep yourself healthy?
Mostly just resting. I'm a busy bee. Like I like to be up, moving around. So it's kind of like I have to force myself just to stay in bed, and mostly just resting, using heating pads, making sure
Yeah.
I'm staying hydrated, taking pain medicine around the clock, and kind of just, just waiting the pain out. Honestly.
Yeah. And this is why we call you all sickle cell warriors, because I think the average person couldn't fathom waiting the pain out and then popping on Instagram the next day looking as wonderful as you do. So you are
That's true.
embodied spirit of a warrior, let me tell you.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
You're welcome. Well, let's jump right in. So I get to interview you today, even though you're going to be our interviewer moving forward. So for the fans, as a reminder, this is our Project Scovid interviews. They're called our Friday COVID Convos. And the goal of Project Scovid is to get correct statistics, facts, information from the sickle cell disease medical community, from the faith community, from other sickle cell warriors about these COVID-19 vaccines. And the reason why we're doing this is to empower people with sickle cell disease to be able to have correct and accurate information so they can make choices for themselves and about these vaccines, and also how to live during these treacherous times. And some things that we kind of talk about amongst ourselves is sometimes I feel like sickle cell has prepared us our whole life to get through a pandemic. So Yasmeen, why don't you tell us about yourself? I heard you starting to say you're a sickle cell warrior, you're a college student. What else do you do?
Yes, so beside from being a college student at an amazing HBCU here, I also run a service-based business as a spiritual advisor. And it's about a little over a year old now. I really work with people on an individual level to guide them spiritually, with anything, like any religion. Just if anybody needs guidance, I'm kind of like a therapist, kind of not. So like I can't really give mental advice, but I can kind of help people, push them along, and just be that helping hand, guiding hand for them. So that takes
Yeah.
up most of my time, besides being sick, college student, working on my business, and working with people.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about COVID-19 vaccine. So what's your COVID-19 vaccine journey? How's that been?
I got my last shot around July. I got the Moderna vaccine at my local CVS, and that was definitely an adventure. I was so nervous getting it, but so far, just kind of riding the wave, still protecting myself when I'm out and about, but I'm fully vaccinated.
Yeah. So where did you find information about the Moderna vaccine so that you felt encouraged to go get it?
Well, I'm someone that does a lot of research. I research as a hobby for fun. So the first thing, anytime I hear about something new, I immediately start getting down to the nitty gritty and researching. So I went online, I went on Google, I tried to find scientists that were a part of coming up with the COVID vaccine, following them, their stories, little articles that they would put out because I have a big science background too because I love STEM. So I study that type of stuff anyway on the free time. So I was okay, well, I'm going to keep up with these scientists. I'm going to study what they've been discovering about the COVID vaccine, their process. I even went and got a book about, genetics. Like I was doing deep research because that's really what eases my worries for the most part with anything new is if I thoroughly research it and see like the facts within it, then I'm like, okay, I feel better about going down this endeavor.
Wonderful. That kind of makes me laugh. We see that a lot in sickle cell is, you know, we don't have a lot of information about even sickle cell care, so we have to figure it out ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
Brother Marcus all the time, he would be reading packet inserts, like,
Mm.
what are you reading? He's like, oh, the packet insert, the black box warning, everything inside
Yeah.
reading. And so you said you were nervous. Did you have any side effects or anything like that?
Surprisingly, no. And that's what I was really nervous about just because I was already dealing with a lot of sickle cell pain at the time. As soon as the pandemic started, my sickle cell just got really, really bad. I developed osteonecrosis in my right hip from having so many sickle cell crises. So my health was just like, I did not want to go over the edge with my sickle cell. So I was really concerned about, okay, if I get this vaccine, if I don't get this vaccine, I may be more likely to get COVID, which is going to make me feel worse. But if I get this vaccine, then okay, what complications could I get from getting the vaccine? Is it going to exacerbate the sickle cell pain? Because I was hearing from people like they were getting these terrible bad periods after they got the vaccine, and periods are a big source of my sickle cell pain. Anytime I'm having a period, I'm having a sickle cell crisis. So I was like, okay, ooh, I really don't want to be pushed, having a bad period cycle this month after getting the vaccine. But thankfully, I didn't have any side effects. The only side effect I really got was just being tired, and that
Right.
lasted for maybe 2 days. And afterwards, I felt normal.
Wow, that's good to hear. And did you prepare at all when you were going with all of this in mind? How did you prepare to go get those vaccines?
Really, at first I was really going to prepare, but sometimes I find over preparing makes me a little more anxious. So I was
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm just gonna go, just gonna do it. I did have in mind though, because I was hearing from people, they were like, okay, yeah, after you get it, make sure you're taking like ibuprofen and stuff, because you may feel some aches and pains. But beside that, I just kind of just went for it. And I was like, okay, just before I change my mind, let me go do it now and get it over with and just see how it goes.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's interesting. So I'm on a clinical trial right now for a COVID-19 vaccine. So it's
Mm.
not Pfizer, it's called Novavax. So it's part of the clinical trial before, it can be used for the general public. And let me tell you, I was so nervous before those vaccine appointments. We got to keep the
Mm-hmm.
mask on and everything. And I was getting nauseous.
Yeah.
Like, are you okay? And I was like, just hurry up and give me the shot. The more you all talk to me, the more nervous I get, and the queasy I'm gonna
Yeah.
get. So I totally and just having to like just let's get it over with. Before I get cold feet, we got to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So and there's been a lot of questions in the sickle cell disease community about these vaccines on people living with sickle cell, and there's also been a little bit of hesitance in the sickle cell community, simply because I do think people would like more information. What would you tell other people living with sickle cell disease who aren't vaccinated yet but are considering getting vaccinated?
I would definitely try to find other warriors online, or if you are blessed enough to know warriors in your community already where you live, and you know they got the vaccine, kind of just asking them how they felt, the process, how they felt afterwards. Because even just with my own online platform, I've been getting dozens of DMs from warriors asking me about my experience, what I think about the vaccine, if they should go ahead and do it. And I feel like sometimes with us with sickle cell, we really don't have that many people to reach out to for support and for guidance. Really, medical professionals don't really know that much about sickle cell, so we really have to just rely on one another to, hold one another's hand, especially during this pandemic. So I would definitely encourage to just reach out to other people that you know with sickle cell to ask them, hey, did you get the vaccine? What was your experience? What do you think about it? And, just bouncing ideas and concerns off of one another to come to a solid agreement if you're going to go ahead and just do it or not.
Wonderful. So really making connections and leaning on your community. Because I think another thing we tell people is with sickle cell, before going, let someone know, let a friend know, let a family member know, so that let's say you are really tired or super fatigued, or you do get your period that puts you into a crisis, or maybe you're just feeling kind of crummy afterwards. You can have someone who knows so that they can help you, be on standby if you need assistance. So it sounds like
Right.
that's also part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, I think we have some questions here. It says, could you pin your information? So know that Yasmeen will be one of our hosts. So if you follow Project Scovit, we will always be tagging her and Tristan. Both of them are our hosts, and you'll see them twice a month. Every Friday, we're doing these COVID convos. And if it's not Yasmeen, then it's Tristan. If it's not Tristan, then it's Yasmeen. And they're both fashionable and beautiful. So outside of vaccine chat, I'm sure you can ask other questions too.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any other questions? I'm going to scroll through these. We have a heart. We have a yay research. We have We Are Warriors.
Yes.
Amazing.
Most
Well,
definitely.
Yasmeen, thank you for interview you. Did I miss any questions? Is there anything you wanna cover before I finish here?
I think that's it. I think we covered a good part of it.
Amazing. So thank you so much for talking with me. I'm going to drop off and let you go ahead and finish this Friday COVID convo.
Okay.
Have a blessed weekend.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Oh, there's a question here before I leave. I was trying to say bye. All right, let's see. It said, what was the feeling you had the next day after the vaccination?
Okay, so the very next day, that's when that was like the height of my symptoms. The only symptom I got the entire time was just being fatigued, which you're a warrior, we feel fatigued 24/7 already. So it really wasn't that much of a difference. I just thought it was regular sickle cell fatigue until my mom came and she was like, are you feeling tired too? And I was like, I thought it was just regular sickle cell tiredness. So you may just experience something like that. You'll barely notice it, but that was at least the height of the symptoms for me.
Gotcha. And then we have Red Moon Project. I think that's Corey. He says all day. So I was probably talking about fatigue.
Yeah.
And then we look at me trying to jump off so fast without looking at the question. Sorry, everyone. Do you have stats on sickle cell? I think that says SC or maybe sickle cell over 50. So I can answer that one. We have talked to many people with sickle cell disease, and there are a few sickle cell warriors over 50 who have been vaccinated and have talked to us about it. On Project Scovit, we do have a story from a sickle cell warrior, Kevin Wake. He's in his 40s, so not quite 50, but he's in his 40s, who was vaccinated and shared his vaccine story too. But we will keep doing interviews and keep highlighting people with sickle cell who have been vaccinated so that we can get you some of their testimonies as well. And then let's see. This says, how is the clinical trial going? Oh, I think that one's for me too. The clinical trial is going fine, I will say. My only concern about the clinical trial for me is that there was a regulatory issue. So that the paperwork wasn't filed correctly in order to get approval. And so there was a hold in the approval. And so what that means for us is while we're all considered people on this Novavax trial, while we're all considered fully vaccinated, because it's not authorized yet by the FDA, the drug company is not reporting publicly all the data. So right now, I don't know what the vaccine is like against the Delta variant. So the clinical trial itself was great. I had a good time. They recruited a lot of Black and brown people at my site. And so we were just having a party whenever we all get together, a little loud all the time. But the only thing that is sort of a sore spot for me is that it's slow on getting approved. And so normal times, that's fine. But given that there's new variants, that has me a little concerned. Let's see. Are there info on sickle cell disease patients on oxygen taking the vaccine? Any side effects? Yasmeen, do you know anyone on oxygen who has been vaccinated with sickle cell disease?
From the top of my head, no. I do know some people that are on certain sickle cell medications that have taken the vaccine. They've been fine, but as far as oxygen, no. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, and as a follow-up to that, if you go to Project SCOVID's page, you can see a list of the sickle cell medications that are fine with the vaccine. Pretty much every sickle cell medication is fine with the vaccine, but we're working with Dr. Sue and Dr. Hentia from the University of Illinois at Chicago, and they're hematologists, and they listed out sickle cell medications that are safe with the vaccines. Okay. All right, Yasmeen, before I leave, I don't want to do this again prematurely. Any other questions? Emma says, we can ask our trusted doctors about the oxygen question and get back to you. That's true.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Any other questions, comments, hearts, those types of things? I feel like we need like a 5-second timer. Do, 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 do. Great. Well, I think that is everything. Again, you have a blessed weekend, Yasmeen. I'm glad you're feeling better, and I'll let you close out the Fry COVID combo.
Thank you. You have a good day. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, you guys. So to wrap up, like she said earlier, if you want to check out any of my services or my pages, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Divinely Yaz with 2 Y's. I believe if you can't remember the ad after I say it, that's fine. It'll be in the Project S COVID story. I think my ad's been posted about 3 times today. And yeah, I will see y'all again, not next week, but the week after next week. Thank you for tuning in to this week's COVID Convo, where we answer y'all's questions on COVID-19 and sickle cell disease. I'm your host, Yasmeen, and we've been talking with Ashley, co-founder and president of Sick Cells. And thank you for joining, and we'll see y'all next Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. Bye.